what is aggregate and what is classified. In the DOS profile, two things. One is aggregate. So just, and one is what is classified, right? So guys, just for a while, okay, just for a while, think that aggregate means it's going to block everything, like all packets, all everything, like okay, everything, like all subnet, kind of everything. Aggregate means all. If you select aggregate, it's going to be block all subnet. Okay, kind of. What is classified? If I want to block some specific IP, one specific IP or subnet, something else. Okay, so this is the meaning. Aggregate means everything, all, full, like a full subnet. Okay, so kind of issue. We will see the example. Aggregate means everything. It is going to be block everything, like a full bundle. Okay, and classified means some kind of specific IPs and everything. Okay, specific IPs. Okay, so we will choose the aggregate. We will make the both types. Okay, but first we will choose the aggregate. In the aggregate, we would see there is a two things: flood protection and resource protection. We know the meaning of resource. We will, okay, we'll see that. So what is flood protection, guys? Flood, we know what kind of flooding. Okay, any kind of bombardment kind of stuff is coming. Okay, like a TCP flood. So in the flood protection, see that the first option is scene flood, the same which we have just learned the example, right? So just select the scene flood. Guys, see that whatever I explained, the same thing is there. So what if any kind of a scene flood traffic coming to my firewall, what it gonna do? Action would be, what is the action? Okay, either randomly drop. Okay, randomly drop. It is going to be do. Okay, and scene cookies. Scene cookies is nothing actually we will not support. But what is scene cookies? I will explain it later. Let me explain what is scene cookies. Randomly drop. We know that it is going to be drop that packet randomly, whether it's a new packet or old packet. Okay, like new session or old session, it is going to block randomly. Okay, randomly means we know that, right? It's either it's a new session or old session. Nothing. It's not going to think anything. It's going to block either new, either old. Anything could be, right? That's meaning of randomly. What is the scene cookies, guys? See, scene cookies is something else actually, where what would happen, like, see that we are not actually supporting scene cookies, but scene cookies is what, where firewall is learning the behavior of attack. Okay, like suppose, guys, like this is PC1, this is PC2, and like PC2 is a hacker. Okay, and he tried to access this PC1, like he want to attack, DOS attack, some kind of scene flood attack. He want to forward attack on this PC, not firewall. Okay, the traffic going by the firewall, right? Okay, he tried to forward a one scene flood attack to this server. So what if you select the scene cookies? Okay, if you select the scene cookies, once my firewall will identify that it could be attack. So instead of this server, what firewall will do is firewall not going to block any session. Firewall, instead of this server, my firewall start responding, right? My firewall start responding to the client. Like this is a source, right? The source is the client and destination is the server all the time. Okay, so instead of this server, my firewall will protect this server, and instead of whatever he's sending the data, okay, whatever he want to attack and whatever it is, the traffic he want to forward to this guy, my firewall, instead of forwarding this, my firewall will start responding to it. Got it? My firewall will start replying in behalf of this server. Okay, my firewall will start replying on behalf of this. That is, we will not actually use it. When we use, if required. So my firewall will start replying on behalf of this, but it will drop later on. Okay, so now we learn that what is the meaning of scene cookies. We will see when it's all gonna affect. Okay, so what happened most of the times for a scene, if it's attacked, better to choose random early drop. Okay, random early drop means what? Early drop means kind of a new. Randomly it will drop, but it's a new session, not so old. Okay, see that. What is the alarm rate? This is the connection. This is a rate actually. This is a threshold we are going to provide, right? So like if there would be a one, like 10,000, you can define 10,000, 1,000, 100 or 1 lakh, whatever, like 10,000 connection per second. If any kind of a flood or attack, anything would come like this your firewall, okay, and this is my hacker. If he forwarding the packet 10,000 connection per second, okay, 10,000 connection per second. So at that time, what would happen? What firewall will do? Alarm rate, okay, it will generate the alarm. It's all depend what you are going to do. It will generate the alarm, okay. The connection 10,000 connection per seconds. If you'll get a 10,000 connection per seconds, it will generate the alarm. That's how you can, configure it. Activate rate. What is activate? After 10,000, it is going to be activate, like monitoring. Start monitoring that it could be some kind of attack or some kind of stuff. So we can define the same 10,000. Like 10,000 is a threshold we have chosen, okay, to activate rate. And maximum rate, once it reaches to the 40,000 connection per second, see, those are the numbers you will define. It is by default there. You will define 40,000, 40 lakhs, whatever you want, even 400 even, right? Even if you want to select 400, it's all depend, okay, how much you want, okay? So suppose it's reached to the 40 maximum, 40 lakhs connection per second, then it will start actioning, right? Then it will start actioning and it will block it for the duration. Like here mentioned is 300 seconds. So it will depend. You want to block. Now we'll see what is the meaning of that. So like suppose this is my firewall, okay, and I have configured it that if any connection coming from one PC, if any connection coming for 10,000 connection per second, what my firewall will do? It will start alarming, okay, alarming. Second, after 10,000 per second, it is also start activating. Activating means it start monitoring, right? Start monitoring. Once it reach to the 40,000 connection per second, then what it will do? It will start blocking it. If like it's a hacker IP is 1.1.1.1, this is hacker IP. It will block. If it reach to the 40,000 connection per second from one PC IP, it will block it. Okay? It will block it. It is not going to see that. There is one more thing, guys. We need to understand what action going to do. It is going to block it, but it is going to block what? Randomly early drop. These are two things very important, guys. Okay? See that. So main thing is that it is my firewall. That is need to understand, guys, because not only suppose this is a hacker, okay, and suppose we have a legitimate user as well, guys, okay, legitimate user, okay, so those are also initiating the connection, right? They have also initiating a connection, like out of all they have initiated a connection for 5,000 connection per second, okay, and hacker initiated and he starts sending like a 20,000 connection per second, 20,000 connection per second. So what would happen? I have configured my firewall that when there would be in my firewall, there would be a 10,000 connection per second. What it will do? It will start alarming and monitoring. So monitoring would be activated, right? That's what is, right? Alarming 10,000 connection per second, even activating 10,000 connection per second. You will increase and decrease according to you, right? Anyway, just try to understand what I want to say. But suppose even you have a legitimate user has like 5,000 connection per second, okay? But meanwhile, hacker increase it. Hacker increases like it's forwarding the packet of 20,000 connection. It will increase to 35, okay? It will increase to 35,000 connection per second. So what happened? 35,000 connection of a hacker and 5,000 connection of a legitimate user, including how many sessions are there in the firewall? 40,000, right? So what we have configured, if if at my firewall, if it reach to the 40,000 connection per second, randomly early drop. It is just start dropping the connection. Until when it will drop? Whatever the traffic, see that. So my firewall will start randomly dropping the connection. It is just dropping the connection. Okay. And till how long it will drop? Those, whatever the IP, it could be legitimate, it could be hacker, anything, right? Okay. It will start dropping the connection randomly, right? To just make available for the connection space. And whatever the IP they will drop it, those actually would block for 300 seconds. If it's a legitimate or if it's a hacker, I don't know. Firewall don't know. Blindly he's going to drop it. And that would be whatever it will drop, they will block for 300 seconds. It will depend. If you want to increase it, you can increase it, or decrease it, you can decrease it. So that's a SYN flood attack, all the threshold value. Purpose of the hacker is what? We are protecting about what? We are protecting the DOS. What is DOS? I have explained that. It is my firewall. Here, what firewall want? Firewall want to be available for the new connection. He doesn't want himself, like itself, to occupied, fully occupied. Okay. So the main purpose, what is the main purpose of hacker here, guys? What is the hacker purpose? Hacker purpose is just forward lakhs and lakhs of connection to this firewall and occupied all the session. So if any hacker, any legitimate user, like any legitimate user try to access the firewall. So just try to understand, guys, the hacker purpose is just want to make my firewall unavailable. Okay. We have seen such kind of stuff, right? In the server is not available in the SBI bank, right? Server is not available, or stuffs like, okay, like in the, just now happened, some important server, we try to log in, but that is not available. It is not responding. So what would happen? Such kind of some DOS attack would be there, right? So hacker purpose is to make my firewall unavailable for some certain of times, right? Because once the TCP timeout would go, then my firewall would be make available automatically, right? Because my firewall, what's happening here? He forward a TCP SYN flood attack. My firewall maintain the session. It will maintain the session only for the TCP timeout. Okay, like a 1 hour. Okay, it will just be unavailable for the 1 hour. But in between, what happened? If my session is going to be available, hacker will forward then again, right? Again, lakhs and lakhs of connection. So each time, all the time, my firewall would be unavailable. So this is the main purpose. He doesn't want that any legitimate user try to access the firewall. This is the main purpose, to make my firewall unavailable. Okay, it's not only firewall, it's for the device, anything. But for the firewall here, we are taking the example. So likewise, we have created such kind of a policy at the firewall. Once it will reach some kind of a threshold, like we have created a 40,000 connection per second, what would happen? My firewall will start dropping the connection randomly. Okay, my firewall will start dropping the connection and make itself available. So in between, if any any legitimate user try to get access, my firewall will allow it. And whoever my firewall will drop the connection, those guys would be unavailable, like block, right? It will be a block for 300 seconds. It's all depend. You can increase and decrease it, right? So that's how we will create a policy here. Okay, let's come again. So that's the DOS protection we have created for the SYN flood. We can also create such kind of attack for the UDP flood. If any kind of any hacker with forwarding a UDP flood packet. So we can likewise same, we are going to create a alarm rate threshold, activate rate threshold, maximum rate threshold, and block IP. See that. But there is no action, guys. Action is going to be follow the same, this one. Okay. Okay. If any ICMP flood would be there, guys, it's also you can create for the ICMP flood traffic. So see that there is in the DOS protection, it's for the SYN flood SYN packet, TCP packet, UDP packet, and ICMP packet. You can create your profile threshold value accordingly. There is a ICMP v6. If someone forwarding the ICMP v6 packet, you can create like well. Okay. If you want to select or unselect. Then other IP flood. If any packet coming from some kind of other IP, or other IP means what? other protocol, other IP means scene is what? TCP, UDP, ICMP, those protocol belongs to the IP. So if any kind of other protocol attack is coming out of these three, it's going to be checked for this. So you can also create a profile for that if you want. So this is for the flood protection, and there is a resource protection. Resource protection is what, guys? Like a maximum concurrent sessions. Okay. So 32768. So if you want that, if you don't want this, like just if you don't want to use flood protection, suppose guys, if you don't want to use flood protection, suppose you just only want to use your resource protection. So you just mention that it should go for a maximum concurrent session, whatever you want, like 1200. I don't know. My PC, let me cancel it. Let me see, go to the dashboard where you would able to see session count. This firewall has a maximum 1248 sessions. It only support a 1248 sessions, right? How many, guys? So we will see at the system resource in the dashboard. So likewise, come to the object and come to the DOS protection. So either you can create a both scene flood, UDP flood. You can create both. Okay, you can create flood protection as well, and even you can create your resource protection as well. So my firewall only support 1278. So I've created like this, like any packet, DOS profile, any session. If my firewall has more than 1200, then it is going to be blocked randomly. Okay, not block actually. That maximum concurrent session, it means it will only support a 1200. Okay, kind of like it. We have a 78 sessions would available for the legitimate guys. Okay, so it will support for the concurrent sessions that 1200. After the 1200, it is going to be dropped. Okay, it's a limit which I am saying. Okay, so it has a limit of a 1200 sessions. Once it will reach to the 1200 session, it's going to be dropped randomly. Okay, so that's the resource protection. We can get a threshold concurrent session, so that there would be no more than 1200 sessions, okay, per seconds. So that's how we can create a concurrent sessions. Concurrent session means what, guys? Total sessions. So it will only support a 1200 sessions. Okay, so that's how we can create a DOS profile, aggregate profile. In the DOS profile, aggregate one. Okay, so I do a okay for this. Okay, so we have created a session for DOS profile. Let's create a one more. Classify. Let's see what is classify profile. Okay, so if I select classify, what we are going to do? Same thing. In the classified, the same thing like, okay, scene flood, UDP flood, okay. You can create, okay, we will see where we can use it. So likewise, we can create even for the resource, the same things, whatever we have created there. 1200. Same like we have created in the classify. And we have created here also in the DOS aggregate. So likewise, we can create the profiles. Okay, see that in the DOS profile, which profile? The type is aggregate and classify. Okay, what we have enabled it. So we have enabled for the flood protection, scene flood, UDP flood. ICMP is not enabled. Okay, we will able to see that. ICMP v6 not enabled in the both. Okay, and resource protections, both the sessions are enabled here. Okay, concurrent sessions. Okay, so that's actually how to create a profile. Okay, now come to the policy, guys. So once you create this profile, guys, where you are going to configure it, assign it. So once you create it, guys, come to the policy, and in the policy, guys, you can see there is a security, netting, those kind of stuff. There is a DOS protection, guys. Okay, click there, DOS protection, guys. Okay, and create your DOS profile, whatever DOS policy. DOS policy. Okay, We know description, tags, group, rules by name tag, all the things. And for zone, okay, from which zone to which zone, like mostly attack would come from the outsides. Okay, if you want to mention some specific IP addresses, even you can mention. So just keep it any. Okay, for the destination inside. Okay, and if you want to mention some kind of specific subnet, specific network you want to protect. Okay, if you're aware, if you don't know, just make it any. Okay, there is a services should be any. Okay, and there is the action, guys. What would be the action you are going to do? Okay, so if it reached to your threshold, what action you are going to do? So action should be obvious deny, guys. You are not going to allow. And what is the meaning of protect, guys? Always choose protect. The protect is what? Whatever we have created, like while creating the scene flood, we have seen the action, right? It is going to be drop early, random early drop. So that is going to follow here. If the threshold would match, so it will randomly early drop. Whatever the action was there, that is going to be follow in the protect. But if you choose deny, once the threshold would match, it is going to be block everything, right? But if you choose a protect, it will work the action which you have created there in that DOS protection, whatever you have selected. And till how long you want to block, that 3 seconds we have given. Okay, so whatever the configuration we have mentioned there in the DOS protection objects, those going to be follow. If you choose a deny, guys, so it means it will be whenever the threshold would match, it is going to be deny everything randomly, whatever it is, but it is going to be deny, guys. Okay, the better way, the recommended way, go with the protect. If you want to create a schedule for that, we know what is schedule, right? And we have learned the schedule objects. If you want to create a one schedule that till how long this DOS rule would be activated, from when to when, right? We know that, right? What is a schedule? We can create a schedule policy. Let's click it if you want to create. So if you want to create any schedule policy and you can assign it, it means that time, some timeline between from there to there, this timeline to this particular time, that is going to be available. Okay, this rule is going to be activated. So I'm not touching it. Log forwarding, we will learn what is log forwarding. Like we will know, right? We have explained it. That if you want to get the logs at your mail, SNMP, we will learn anyway the logs in the next classes. Okay, so if you want to get the logs at your mail, at your SNMP, at your syslog server, you can provide it. Just create it and provide it. We will see that later on. And guys, what do you want to choose? If you want to choose the aggregate or you want to classify it, we have created the aggregate and classify, right? So if you want to mention both aggregate, we have created the DOS aggregate profile, right? Select it. Either you can select both or either you can select one by one. Okay. Even the classified, what we have, see that the example you will understand. We have created a classify profile. In this classify profile, you will see that, as I explained, that classify is for a specific IP only. See that. So addresses, if you want to block some kind of a specific IP, so as a source or destination IP or a source and destination both IP, that's going to be take effect. Okay. So that's how you can create your DOS protection profile. Let me press OK. So that's how you can create your DOS protection, guys. If you are aware of that, this is a hacker. If you name that particular guy that this is a villain, so then you will just the identity of this guy, right? So you will not let him enter to your society or flat, right? I'm just giving one general example. So if you know that this particular IP, like a China, right? There I'm creating one policy. So we know that like if any attack coming from China, we can just create a reason based ACL, okay? And any IP coming to the China, it is blocked. And if you are aware of, like in the same policy, I have created, see that what kind of deny policy? Let's see the deny policy new. So like if you're aware of that traffic coming from the outside zone, and you know that, like suppose 1.1.1, this is the hacker IP, suppose, okay, you know that. As I'm taking your example only, you are saying that if you're aware of the IP of the hacker, like this is the IP of the hacker, okay, just block it. Okay, where inside, okay, is my destination, any action would be deny. So whenever if any traffic coming from 1.1.1, It is blocked. It is denied, right? See that. Is zone is belongs to the outside. IP source IP is 100.101. Destination is my inside zone and any traffic from my inside zone. Okay, because he can initiate inside any of the traffic. If you know the inside network, you can mention it.